welcome to another episode of the Patient Convert podcast. Justin Knott here, and today we are talking backlink building. Is it a solid strategy for SEO, both at the local level and the national or regional level as a medical practice, healthcare organization that is looking to grow their influence, increase brand awareness, drive more traffic to their treatment pages, their blogs, or whatever they're doing? And so I wanted to really talk through the strategy behind it, the reason why it is a really critical focus, and oftentimes done incorrectly to really the detriment of the website as a whole, because bad backlinks are pretty damaging. They can increase toxicity scores, which is just kind of spam to your website, and actually degrade the value of your website authority, what we call a domain authority or domain rank score for your website. And so it's actually, not only is it really critical, but it's really critical that you do it right, or probably don't do it at all, because it can be way more damaging. We've come a long way in backlink building, I think, and we've been forced to, as Google has come a long way over the last couple years, and its sophistication and its algorithms on picking up on kind of quality versus quantity. For a while, you could kind of build out what were called private blog networks, PBNs, kind of create your own websites, build up a little domain authority, and then use those as backlinking structures. There were a lot of black hat tactics that really no longer work. And so it's really created it's gone back old school, and it's roll up your sleeves and do it the right way in terms of going about beneficial backlink building, especially if you're a national organization that's looking to rank for, especially when you're talking about high level treatment stuff where you're dealing with heavy hitters like John Hopkins or Cleveland Clinic or Mayo Clinic, some of these that have really built Titan level kind of who, what, why explainer, like diagnosis, treatment, symptoms type articles. If you're going after that type of stuff, this is absolutely essential. And really it all leads back to kind of understanding backlink building from a fundamental standpoint. It comes back to authority. And what backlinks do is it increases your authority in Google's mind that your content, whether it's your website as a whole or specific content that's being backlinked to, has authority, it is trustworthy, and it's doing a really good job of answering particular search queries on that specific topic or keyword, that type of stuff. And the more you do backlink building, again, to a specific piece of content or to, say, your homepage as a whole, you're continuing to improve not only that page's authority score, but your domain's authority score. There's a couple pieces to kind of break down domain authority that influence it. It's a scale, just so you know, it's a scale from 0 to 100, 100 being google.com, and some of those YouTube, those that are in like the 98 to 100 range. It's the most probably well-known websites in the world that have the really high domain authority scores. And that's because they have earned that from being trustworthy, driving massive amounts of traffic, creating massive amounts of high quality content kind of month in and month out, as well as most of them being 20, 25, 30 plus years old too. And it's all about trust. And what these backlinks do is they help build and accelerate your domain authority, especially as a new practice, new healthcare organization. Backlink building is a really great way, if you kind of turn the faucet on slowly and just don't hammer it too early on, to shorten the gap of building your domain authority, especially with a brand new domain, which is really, really important. If you have a 20, 25-year-old domain, you've been around for a long time, you have some naturally built domain authority that exists there. Websites are going to naturally have been linking to yours. You've got a long-standing track record on Google in terms of them knowing that you're a safe website and a credible website. That's why you see in auctions domains going for such a large amount of money. There's several different reasons, but one of those can be just its pure domain age. If you can find something that's a good fit and it's 25 years old, it really is cutting a corner from a domain authority standpoint and shortening the gap to be able to rank your website and the content on your website a whole lot faster. And that's a frustrating reality for a lot of new healthcare organizations and practices. Is there is a natural ramp up that you cannot get around, good, bad, or indifferent, from again, it's different: local, national, regional, but it really doesn't matter whether you're a local practice with one location or you're a national organization, B2C or B2B organization that's trying to build like content authority and drive traffic to your website. You're looking at 6 to 12 months, really 18 to 24 months to build up enough domain authority to consistently rank new content that you're producing and putting on your website, as well as optimize and push old content kind of up the ladder and break it into the top 3. Is your age really matters, because when you buy a domain, you could sit around for 6-12 months before you even start getting traffic, and backlink building is quintessential to accelerating that gap by increasing your domain authority. Like a really good case study, for instance, is we have a national organization that is in the medical virtual assistant space, and going against, really at the time, was 1 or 2 main competitors that are 6 to 10 years old. And so we needed to close that gap. Our game plan was kind of, how do we do this in 12 months to be able to become relevant enough that we're ranking for our primary set of 15 to 20 keywords in a hurry. And the best way to do that was produce the content, position ourselves to be able to begin breaking into the top 100, and then use kind of a drip buildup of authority backlink building from quality niche related websites over time, and accelerate that over time. So we don't kind of raise a red flag to Google, like, hey, here's a new website, and all of a sudden they have 150 backlinks. That's weird. And in doing so, within 6 months, we were able to see us consistently showing up like in the top 3 pages for a lot of keywords that this website is brand new. I mean, the domain was 12 months, had been purchased like 12 months ago, and it never even had a live website on it. But by month 12, through backlink building and content development for these primary keywords, we were breaking into the top 3 and ranking number 1 for a lot of their primary keywords, which was generating real leads and real revenue for this company in the like $10+ million run rate at that point. And a lot of it was driven through the SEO and the backlink building that we're talking about today. And that's why it's really, really critical. But again, what I was talking about is domain authority is predicated really on trust. And this trust building exercise through backlink building, by getting other websites to say, hey, this is really good quality content, either on this service or treatment page or blog post, that I'm going to cite as a source and link back to in this piece of content, or on their website as a whole is a really good resource, is again telling Google like, hey, this is good content, this is a good domain, this is trustworthy for these particular topics. Continue to kind of move them up the ladder in what they're ranking for and visibility and authority of their website. And as you continue to do that, that's why you can see what I give as a good example. The topic of leadership. The topic of leadership is written. There's probably tens of thousands of pieces published every day on that topic. But you can look at a website like Inc.com or Forbes, and a contributor or an editorial piece can come out about like 10 tips for elevating your emotional leadership skills or something like that. And it can rank overnight within 24 hours of being published on a topic that I could write about for 2 or 3 years and create a podcast and a website on about everything about leadership and not break the top 10. And that's all driven by their domain authority that's been established over years of time, and great content and great backlink building. As I mentioned before, early on, there is a downside to doing it wrong. And it's one of those things that you either need to have somebody that knows what they're doing, will do it the right way, track the success of it, and monitor your toxicity scores and submit disavow files to Google over time to keep things in check and in order. Or you can end up doing so much more damage than you do good in the short term and in the long term by getting backlinks from the wrong types of websites and toxic websites. You have to be really careful. And how we go about it, our process, to give you kind of a feel for it, is when we're building out kind of the sitemap, our content calendar, and our keyword kind of buckets and primary focuses for a client, it's establishing a backlink building calendar around those specific topics. Because while it's important to get exact match anchor links, like if you're trying to rank for us, for instance, like healthcare marketing agency, going out and getting a ton of backlinks from a website with the exact hyperlink that says healthcare marketing agency. Looks good on its face, but it's actually not the best practice. You're kind of wearing that keyword out, and you can increase the spam score, and you can actually devalue that keyword on your website. So it's really about building out a good pool of LSI keywords and related keywords too that you're throwing into the mix, and consistently building backlinks for those pieces of keywords too, to that same piece of information. So that's kind of how we break it down. We create our content calendar for our clients. We look at what's working well on their website and what we need to re-optimize. Maybe it slipped a little bit, or we want to keep it up at the top. And then we take that information and we build a long-term backlink building strategy for them to strengthen the pieces that are already on their website, not forgetting about their homepage, which is the most important page that feeds domain authority to all of these pages on the interior of their website. Build backlinks to the homepage, and then all the future content that we're developing, make sure that we include those in the game plan and the roadmap. So you have a process of create a piece of content, launch it on the website, request indexing from Google Search Console, and then put it into the queue for backlink building so we can get it influenced and get it ranking higher a whole lot faster than just kind of waiting around and saying the prayer of eventually it's going to show up and eventually it's going to rank well. Well, we don't need to, we can take some of that control back by including it in a very pointed backlink building process and program. And there's a couple of different types of backlinks that you typically want to focus on. Again, you want to focus on money anchor text backlinks to varying pages and blog posts, as well as your homepage. Those are kind of your primary keyword for that page, and getting a link in text directly back from a niche website. When I say niche website, what I mean is if you're in the medical space, and this goes for any industry at all, whatever industry that you're in, you want to keep the website relevancy high for the backlinks that you're receiving. They will create the most impact. What I mean by that is if you're in medical, ideally, you only want to get backlinks from high authority, high trafficked websites that speak to the medical niche, because that creates a much more quality backlink in and of itself, because it's saying like, hey, this isn't just a random like auto dealership website that we just got a backlink because we wanted a backlink. This is from a reputable niche specific website talking about a similar thing that we talk about consistently, linking back to us. That says to Google again, hey, trustworthy website in the same niche, linking back to this one. Let's give them some credit where credit is due for good content, and increase their page authority and increase their domain authority. And that's really what it's all about. So you want to stay niche specific as well. A few different types that I was mentioning, you've got kind of in-page content, and that is reaching out, creating a process to reach out via email, via contact forms on identified niche-based high domain authority websites, and pitching them an in-content link placement to go back to a specific page that you're trying to increase the page authority and the domain authority for as part of your backlinking. And what that means is, say you've got a Medscape, and Medscape has an article about frozen shoulder, and we're trying to build a backlink to a particular topic on a client website. We'll go to them and say, hey, we've got a piece that one of our doctors wrote about frozen shoulder exercises to help free up the frozen shoulder and loosen the muscles, or this is how you recover from like what the post-op looks like for frozen shoulder, like that type of stuff. And if we can pitch them on, hey, inside the article, we think would be a really great resource to strengthen that frozen shoulder article that you have on Medscape by linking back to our piece, and it's a win-win. So they get to strengthen the article by citing a really good source, say written by a surgeon, and as an exchange, we get the benefit of them linking back, increasing the page authority, increasing the domain authority, and increasing the ranking visibility, and ultimately the organic search traffic and the potential lead generation for that page. And so that's what we call an in-content link. The other is guest posts, and that is actually writing a piece, a guest post for a website, and either before or after the post is written, and you include, again, a backlink in there to your website, is you pitch them on placing that on their website as another piece of content. This is really, really good, but it obviously requires an additional step of writing a piece for that webmaster or that website, which usually can't be reused. Some websites will allow you to reuse it elsewhere, but the fear is that can dilute its value, because if you publish it on your site and publish it on their site, their websites may get devalued because you're going to have kind of first rights to that content as Google sees it. It's called a canonical tag. And that's really important to keep in mind. So it's an extra step, but the webmasters really like it because, again, content is the engine of all of the stuff that we're talking about. So for them to have other people doing the work for them and writing content for them to put up on their website, you're doing their job for them and driving the engine of their website forward in terms of producing more content, driving more traffic, all of those different types of things, which is really, really beneficial. Another is a potential is a link swap too. Those can be hit or miss, but those can be a really good situation if you can find really good reciprocated content that matches. Like, hey, if you link back to our piece, that can be a really good added value source for your piece of content. We can do the same for you because this piece is really good in terms of a source that we can put inside of our piece of content as well. And so that can be a really good potential swap situation. So those are some of the strategies that we use to build backlinks for our clients. And again, at a local level, it can be really effective. There's some local directory and citation building stuff that can be done. National level links still work really well because, again, increasing domain authority, increasing page authority is just going to increase ranks for your treatments and conditions pages at a local level as well. National, it is absolutely essential. You have to have well-formed, well thought out, solid, strong content to link to. And then you really need to be building backlinks consistently month in and month out in order to be able to crack into the top 10 for a lot of these things that we've been talking about today. So keep in mind, backlinking is not only not dead, it is still critically important to be woven into your SEO program, your content development program, and the long-term success of your website's growth. So thanks again for listening, as always, to the Patient Convert podcast, and I will see you on the next episode.